Hello everyone. As a leading consultant in the domain of network security, my group and I will be explaining about the design of the network infrastructure and security implemented. I, Shashina Anapampan Suresh, and my group members are Bigna Rubashram Anlaki Ramasamy, Nur Alia Adlina binti Harish Marikan, Kavindran Anlaki Viswanathan, Nur Akma Akisha binti Mukhtar, and Bejat Reyas. Now I will be talking about the introduction and background. This project is to build a very stable, effective, high availability campus in Langkawi. The aim is to design a network with high security and limited accessibility to specific users. This network system will act as an administrator system for the college and as an offsite location which backups the overall database of USM campuses. Offsite campus must have good geographical location, and the criteria are power and connectivity, remote area with less probability of nature disaster occurrence. The network build are using multiple redundant fiber connection, which creates a safety net so that if something were to happen to the primary fiber cable, service to the client will not be interrupted, where we will introducing the cloud over here. The network also uses a few security implementations to secure the connections among users and prevent any malfunctions and threats.
Hello everyone, my name is Bigna Rubashram. Metric ID is 153453. I will be presenting about the network topology design. So this is the overall network topology design that have been created satisfying each and every requirements, and we added some extra services to maintain an effective campus network. So this is the main network. We choose Telecom Malaysia as our internet service provider. The main router can access all of USM campus database, and it is sent to the cloud to duplicate the data for backup. The main router uses the subnet of 130.0.0.0/8 blocks, and it is connected to Langkawi router, which uses subnet 130.130.0.0/16. The Langkawi campus will be using a newly allocated subnet, so it cannot be connected directly to the main router, which uses the old subnet. There is a virtual library connected to the USM Langkawi server, which is connected to the USM main library database. There is another router that is connected to Langkawi router, which is the campus router. This router connects to every other building in the campus except the main office and lecture rooms. This router has a firewall in between, which gives limited access to the students that's using the network. Only the admins and lecturers have access to connect the server directly. This is the network design for the main office and lecture rooms. The main office and the lecturer rooms have distribution switch, which consists of 5 ports connected to Ethernet switches with 15 RJ45 ports and 25 RJ45 ports to 10 admins and 20 lecturers respectively. We have connected extra printer and fax for admins and 2 printers for lecturers. We also provide Wi-Fi connectivity through the modem.
Over here, the two computer labs have distribution switch, which consists of 10 ports connected to 5 access switches with 8 RJ45 ports to connect 6 computers each. We have connected extra projector and screen for lecture use. We also have Wi-Fi connectivity via modem. Over here we can see one of the lecture hall, and another lecture hall duplicates the same design over here. So we have a switch with 5 ports and 2 RJ45 ports connected to the one PC and projector, and also we have the extra screen for lecture use. We also have Wi-Fi connectivity up to 250 devices where students can use laptops, iPad, tablets or mobile, and the Wi-Fi connectivity will be provided by the modem.
Hi, I'm Kavindran with metric ID 153694. We'll be explaining about the security needs for the campus. Campus security needs to be comprehensive, integrated system that is designed to protect the campus's community and its facilities. The security system should include people, technology, and processes. People are the most important elements of any security plan because they are the first line defense against threats. The security team should be trained in various skills such as defensive tactics and emergency response. They also need to be able to respond quickly and appropriately when incidents occur on campus. Therefore, policy, SETA, and security planning will be implemented among the staff of the campus. The second part of the system is the technology, which includes several layers of security equipped with advanced technologies that can help to detect intruders or threats before any harm is committed on the campus. Technologies can help to defend against harm before and during an attack, and as well as to recover the system after an attack. Moving on to security blueprint, the guideline of the new campus will consist of 9 security controls to face against threats. Examples of each security controls are given in the slide. First, we have the communication and operation management, which will be applied whenever users access the campus's facilities and electronic equipment. We also have the access control, which addresses the campus's ability to control access to assets based on businesses and security requirements. We have security policy, which is a document that states in writing how the new campus plans to protect its physical and information technology assets. Then we have the organizational security, which includes the configuration of restriction. Then comes the physical and environmental security, which is the measures taken to protect system, buildings, and related supporting infrastructures in campus. Furthermore, we have the system development and maintenance, which addresses the campus's ability to ensure that appropriate information system security controls are both incorporated and maintained. Then we have personal security, which defines the sensible control measures to minimize the risk of an attack from within. Moreover, we have the compliance, which is about the campus's ability to remain in compliance with the requirements. And lastly, the asset classification and control. It is about the security infrastructure to protect and classify the campus's data. Now, let's look deep into policy. We will be focusing on three different types of policies, which are program policy, issue-specific policy, and system-specific policy. Having the three different policies greatly benefits our campus security system.
Assalamualaikum, hi and selamat Hari Raya Aidil-Adha. I'm Nur Alia Adlina binti Haris Marikan, metric number 153650, and I will be sharing the next part of our security blueprint, which is our security analysis. As you can see, here is a vulnerability assessment table that we have implemented as part of our security analysis. It consists of potential threats and how these threats may occur towards our desired topology network. This vulnerability assessment table is important as it would help us in our risk management process later onwards. It also gives us a clearer picture on what we can expect and predict and how exactly these threats may occur. I will be explaining some of the most crucial threats that we have listed, which are compromises to intellectual property, information extortion, and sabotage attacks. The first one is compromises to intellectual property. It is when copyrighted works are stolen and copied, when one of our assets are not configured to limit access from outside, and this will result in the campus in losing its copyright hold. Next is information extortion. This is when the asset and device is bypassed or compromises, to which the data stored in the campus network can be encrypted by attackers, to which there results in the campus having to get back the encryption key from the attackers by complying to their requests. The third one is sabotage or attacks. It is when our IP is vulnerable to DOS, or more known as denial of service. As you know, University Science Malaysia is a very prestigious university. With that said, if any of these listed threats were to happen, it would put the university's data at risk. Other than the three threats that I have explained just now, the other threats that are listed should also be considered as well. Now, we will be taking a look at the probability event table that is also part of our security analysis. Previously, I have shared with you the threats that are possible to our design network. Every threat listed has its own scale and rating. The ones I have explained before are threats that are potentially the most risky ones out of the many others. So, how exactly do I know that those threats are the most risky ones? Well, there are ways for us to calculate how risky a threat is. First up, we start with the probability of occurrence of each threat. As you can see in this table, we have implemented 0.1 as the lowest rate and up to 1.0 as the highest rate. Each threat listed doesn't necessarily occur every day, but it can also happen once per year or maybe not at all. Other than the probability of event, we must also take into consideration the scale of harm of the event in order for us to calculate the risk of the event. Here, I present to you the harm of event scale that we have come up with and the one that we have implemented in our security analysis. It ranges from 0.1 as the most trivial harm and up to 1.0 as the most crucial harm. It also states the degree of harm that we could expect, such as small impact and up to total shutdown. With both the probability of event table and also the harm of event scale, we are now able to determine the risk of each threat listed. So, how exactly do we calculate risk? Risk equals to probability of event times the harm of event. This table here shows how we rate the risk from nada to extreme, also using a range of 0.1 up till 1.0 as our likelihood. I will now present to you the Security Education Training Awareness, or more known as SETA, that we will be implementing for everyone involved, especially the lecturers and other campus staffs that will be using our design network topology. For security education and training, we will be organizing an information security seminar. First and foremost, there will be an introduction to the new system implemented on campus. This is to give the participants an insight and also to make sure that everyone who will be working with the new system understand exactly what is going on. Next, there will be a hands-on and applied security training for them. At the end of this session, they will then be put into group to which they will have to brainstorm and problem solve a given problem. Participants will also be given a booklet on information security to which they will have to read and study. On the last day of this seminar, each participant is made compulsory to sit for the qualification test. It will consist of 3 essay questions and also 20 MCQ questions based on the given information security booklet. As I have mentioned previously, it is compulsory for them to sit for this qualification test, and also it is compulsory for them to pass this qualification test. As for security awareness, some of the initiative includes weekly email. Here is an example on the content of the email. This reminder email will be sent to everyone who is on the campus network. Besides that, we will also post reminder online posters and banners throughout our websites. In the picture is a security awareness banner that users can see every time they try to log into the campus website. Here is also another reminder poster that is being posted on the campus website once users have logged in. Other than the reminder email and also online posters and banners, flyers are also printed and pinned throughout the office notice board for everyone's reminder.
Continuity strategies are made up of two plans, which are Incident Response Plan and Disaster Recovery Plan. Looking into IRP, we have 6 different steps which are necessary to minimize damage caused by threats, including data loss and abuse of resources of the campus. Starting with preparation, where the underlying security policy that guides the campus's incident response plan will be reviewed and codified. Then we have the identification step, where the team should be able to recognize when the system deviates from its typical behavior. Moving on to containment, where the team should focus on stopping any additional damage from happening. Step 4, which is eradication, the fundamental cause of an attack must be found. The recovery step is where the system is revived back. Lastly, lessons learned, where unfinished documentation will be completed. Disaster recovery plan consists of 5 steps. Step 1 is where all IT resources will be audited for future reference. Step 2 is where the data will be classified according to priority. And step 3 is where roles will be assigned for every employee. Step 4 is about finding a remote data storage solution. And lastly, step 5 is where the test plan is created to periodically test the DRS.
We will now talk about the security technologies that will be implemented in our design topology network. There will be 5 security technologies that we will be implementing towards our design topology network. One is firewalls. It is to prevent confidential and also specific data from getting into untrusted networks. The second one is access control. This is to determine how to admit a user into our trusted network. The third one is intrusion detection and prevention system, or also known as IDPS, to which it will help detect attacks and also violations that weren't able to be stopped by our system. The fourth one being authentication. This is to ensure that users are really who or what is recognized by our trusted network. And last but not least, scanning and analysis tools to find vulnerabilities in our system.
Hi everybody, I'm Ajit Riaz and my matrix number is 154455. Today I will be talking about related legal and ethical issues. Talking about some of the issues, some of the ethical issues. Number one is privacy, that everybody's privacy should be respected with all the information. Accountability, like if there's any problem or any harm is caused in the system, we should know who is responsible for it. Number three, dependability, that we should know who to depend on, like who's our leader. Fourth, sustainability. We should care about the energy consumption and care about the future. Next is transparency. We should be very particular about policy making, and we should let the people in our organization know about whatever the ethical policies there are. Then there is diversity. We should not care about the gender, race, and age of any profession, of any employees. Business ethics, that if there is any change in the business model, we should let the users know. Then there's work ethics, that we should always test the product before giving it to the market, before releasing the final product. Then there's availability, that whenever any information or anything is needed, we should always have that in hand, and it should not be delayed because of any technical and lack of any technical issue or lack of knowledge. Now some code of ethics, starting with, we should respect other people's privacy, let it be users or the employees. No one should use system internet to harm other people. Integrity of the user should be respectful. No one should steal the information of another user or employee. Do not use the other person's computer without authorization. No one should be disrespectful because of their cultural differences. No one should interfere, damage other person's work due to their personal reasons. And all the individuals at the workplace should be respected to maintain the healthy environment for work. That's all for the code of ethics.
Next, laws for internet security. First, Copyright Amendment Act 1997. It is to make unauthorized transmission of copyright works over the internet and infringements of copyright. In our organization, we promote presenting our own work or display the reference. Second, Personal Data Protection 2010. An act to regulate the processing of personal data in commercial transactions and to provide for matters connected therewith and accidental thereto. In our organization, we encourage that the privacy of the users is respected and not interfered. Third, Computer Crimes Act 1997 purposely created several offenses related to the misuse of computers. In our organization, we discourage the unauthorized access to computer materials, unauthorized access, we intend to commit others offenses, and unauthorized modification of computer contents. Next, conclusion. We use hybrid topology design as it's scalable, flexible, reliable, and easy to troubleshoot and fix error in the network. All the devices used are based on IoT latest technology to smoothen the flow and act as a good backup as devices can be connected wirelessly when cable function fails. The network is strongly secure and various security have taken in account as we have implemented security blueprint with very stable policy, wisely and rationally planned SETA continuity strategies. We have considered and followed each related legal and ethical issues which is globally and locally and set rules for each users in the network so that the cyber ethics are maintained. We implement cloud computing to back up to the cloud to keep files and data readable available in the event of a system failure, outage, or natural disaster.